What's up everyone? So today's video is probably one of the most requested videos on my channel. And I am finally going to reveal my secrets on how I color grade my videos. Let's do this. Alright, so color grading is probably one of my favorite parts of editing because basically when you add color to your videos, it gives it life, it gives it like character. But I have a couple of important things I would like to set up first before we dive straight into the color grading process. So the number one thing to know is that no LUT, lookup table or filter is going to be your all-in-one solution for your color grading. Okay, you can't just slap on the LUT and just be done with the day, good, pang kang liao. No, it's not like that. There's a lot more to it. You actually have to tweak your colors according to the different lighting situations that your footages might have. Alright, so there's just a lot more work to it than just slapping on a filter. In fact, a LUT or a filter is just an icing on the cake that gives your videos that bit of a character, like a film look. Alright, so the second thing that you need to know, which is very important, is that subtlety is key when color grading, right? You don't want to be pushing your colors, your grade, or your filters too much, too over the top until it looks really unnatural and unprofessional. You want to be really subtle with your tweakings, with your colors, and that itself will help you to just achieve a more cinematic kind of look altogether. Alright, so number 4, this is my last point, and basically again, your color grade is going to be dependent on the type of camera that you're using and the picture profile that you're shooting with. And basically what I would recommend is to just try and keep your picture profile to be as neutral as possible. I recommend you guys to just reduce all of your sharpness, reduce your contrast, and maybe a bit of the saturation, just reduce it so that you can add all of that in post. So as of right now, I'm using the Sony a7 III, and the picture profile that I'm using is Cine 4 Pro Color. So everything that I'm going to show you guys right now is going to be based on these two things. Alright, let's do it! Let's dive into my computer right now. Alright, so now you're in my computer, and if you didn't know, okay, I edit on Adobe Premiere Pro. This is where I edit all of my videos and also color grade my videos, but you can use the same principles and concepts in whichever like software you're using. The very first thing that I would do is to create an adjustment layer. So basically an adjustment layer is where you can put all of your effects into this layer and it would affect anything that's down below. So pretty useful. I'm gonna just stretch it out, okay, over all my clips. And the next thing that I would do is to put my filter or my LUT into my adjustment layer. So a LUT is basically a lookup table which kind of like changes the color values or the color characteristics of your video. Okay, I'm going to go into window. I'm going to enable lumetri color. So this is where I'm going to do all of my color grading, and I would also pop up the lumetri scopes. Okay, just a disclaimer, I'm not a colorist. A lot of the times I color grade according to how I feel just by looking at the image. So I'm not very good with like waveforms and stuff like that, but okay, so I'm going to put in my LUT. Just to let you guys know, I am currently using from this website called Vision Color. Okay, they have this Osiris LUT packs that they sell, and I use my LUT from that. So I'm going to click on adjustment layer, click on creative, and click on this look. Okay, this is where you put your LUT or your filter, browse, and I'm using the KDX LUT. Okay, so I'm gonna apply. So right off the bat, boom, yeah, pretty intense the colors. When the intensity is at 100, it's coming off a bit strong. It's a bit orangey, very yellow, but I kind of like the colors, the general look of it. It looks very Kodak film look kind of ish. So yeah, that's why I chose this LUT, but definitely I'm going to tone it down. So I have my value set to about 40. So now this looks pretty raw, but okay, if you can see, if I remove the LUT, yeah, it's a very subtle effect. Okay, your filters, you don't want your intensity to be like 200. It's just way too strong. So in general, when you color grade just try to keep everything very subtle. Okay, now I'm going to click on my clip. This is where I'm going to put all of my adjustments. The very first thing I would do is to actually add the tone curve. So basically, what is a tone curve? These are the highlights, midtones, and the shadows. Okay, I'm going to put 3 points over these parts. And to make your image pop, okay, a very common way to do it is to put an S curve. Alright, so you're going to raise the highlights and midtones, and then you're going to, whoops, damn it! I'll try to keep the highlights a bit more crushed. Don't want it to be too bright. And then I'm going to put on the shadows, and once I put on the shadows, you will realize, yeah, you'll start to see that the image is popping out a bit. Yeah, so just be sure you be really subtle. Okay, so I think this is about right. Now I feel that the colors are coming off a bit too strong, so I'm going to go into the creative tab and push-ish. Should be right. Alright, so the next thing that I'm going to do is to go into the three-way color corrector, and basically what this does is you can adjust the colors separately based on the shadows, highlights, and midtones being, you know, something like the skin tones and basically tones that are not in the shadows and the highlights. So right now, I'm going to work on the shadows first. I tend to pull my shadows, okay, towards the teal side. When you have your shadows pulled to the teal side, it's going to make your orange or your midtones, which tend to be orange, pop out more. Next thing, the midtones are your middle ground parts of the video. Okay, I think this is just about right. And then my highlights, I tend to like to go towards the bluish side to kind of offset. I think this is just about right. Maybe I just put down the shadows a bit. Maybe I'll pull down the exposure by a bit. Maybe highlights, pretty bright, so I'm going to put down the highlights a bit so that it's not like so glaring. My color palette is neutral colors, skin tones to look as fresh and neutral as possible, and just have the tinge of that film look. So I think this is good to go. Yeah, can you see the difference? So, and then with and without the light. Alright, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to copy the attributes, okay, of this, because this is, yeah, again, this is our reference clip, and I'm going to paste to our next clip. Okay, you don't want to redo the entire thing again, right? So, in my opinion, this looks, to me at least, somewhat close to what I want. So, very minimal adjustments. I think the exposure is fine. Yeah, looking pretty fine. So you see, once you have your reference clip, it will be a lot easier. You don't need to do much tweaking unless it's a really different like situation. Okay, so moving on, right here I have another clip. This was shot with a different camera. It's the Sony a7S II, and it was shot at a different timing during the golden hour. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to accentuate the golden hour. So same thing, I'm going to copy from my very first clip, the most neutral clip, and I'm going to paste it over. Okay. So right now it's still not looking very golden hour-ish. So I'm going to push. Right now I can afford to push the midtones to be a bit more warm. Just about there. Highlights around there. And then you can put on a bit of the shadows to create more color contrast. And I also can kind of like pull down the curves a bit, the shadows, to create more contrast. And just more minor tweaks. Yeah, something like that. Can definitely afford to pull more warmth into the highlights to again kind of replicate the golden or the orange hues from the sunrise, from the sunset. Alright, so if we see the before and after. Before, after. Yeah. Next up. Okay, so this is a shot with the A7R III in Finland at a restaurant. So the lighting over this one is pretty orange, and right off the go, I know I'm probably going to tone down a lot of that orange color. So I'm going to just copy from my reference again, paste. Yeah, it looks really orangey. Yeah, the contrast is a bit too much. Okay, I'm going to increase the brightness by a bit. Okay, right now I'm going to just remove all the warm colors, the mid-tones especially, because his skin is really looking very orange. So I'm going to put some blue highlights to neutralize. the warm colors. So I'm going to put down the shadows as well to just bring everything, you know, to be less warm. Okay, it's looking a bit better. Okay, this is the max I can go for my shadows lah. Okay, I think this is not too bad already. So another thing you can do is to go to your hue saturation curves. Again, this is where you can, you know, whether you want to put more color into the orange hues or you want to reduce it, this is where you can do it. So for this instance, I'm going to just slightly reduce the orange by a bit. As you can see, it can affect the whole image because the whole image is pretty orange. So I'm going to tone it down a bit, just a bit. That looks pretty fine. And then saturation, I think I can afford to go down a bit, because again, the warm colors are really coming off very strongly. Okay, so I think I'm pretty much, fine with this edit. Roughly like that. And you can see the before and after. Bam. Yeah, okay, it was super orangey. And kind of like I tried to neutralize it. Yeah. Alright, so that is it. That is my color grading process, and hopefully you guys can learn something and apply it to your films or videos. Have fun with it. Color grading it's fun, you know, it's like painting a picture, and yeah, that's my favorite process as well. So let me know in the comments if this was useful, or if you like to learn a little bit more. Do give this video a thumbs up, it really helps, and don't forget to subscribe and join in the ride for more videos like this, and I will see you next time. Take care, guys. Bye.